So, why should she have to think in that moment, I wonder if this post is going to be liked by my followers? I wonder if it's going to be received the way it needs to be received. A phrase that I'm hearing a lot lately is she didn't read the room. Well, guess what? We don't have to read the room. We can speak our truth. But there is a time to share our truth and there is a time to zip it. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the perspective from the ego and the soul. I'll share a little story with you. So recently I saw a post, and this is one of many posts, where in the middle of the LA fires, there was a celebrity who was in her walking robe and she captioned it, I don't know what to pack, I'm being evacuated. And there were a lot of comments underneath saying she didn't read the room, like people are suffering, and all she took, and here we are looking at a huge walk-in robe, and she doesn't know what out of all the things to pack that she needs to pack. What a problem. This is where we need to take a step back and take off our judgment hat and try to put ourselves in her position. She's being evacuated. This is actually her cupboard. Even though there's a lot of things in there, she's still a human. By putting that post out there, I don't know what her intention is. Maybe she was wanting some sympathy. Maybe she was wanting some empathy. Maybe she was trying to say that I'm one of you guys, I'm getting evacuated too. I don't know. But let's just give that poor lady a break. She's just about to potentially lose her home. And if she wants to take a selfie in her walk-in robe to get a little bit of sympathy from her audience, okay, let her do that. So why should she have to think in that moment, I wonder if this post is going to be liked by my followers? I wonder if it's going to be received the way it needs to be received. So this comment, she didn't read the room, yes, it applies to men and women, but particularly women, because it is the feminine voice that has been quashed for so long. We don't need to friggin' read the room. We can just speak our truth. We don't need to decide whether you're going to like that truth before we say it. We can just say it because that's our truth. We have suffered thousands of years of persecution where the feminine has not been able to rise up and say what they need to say. And we can still see that playing out in business and in our personal relationships. Now, that doesn't mean that we speak as our wounded self. We can step into our power and speak from our love self. And so the ego wants to be liked, and the ego will speak up or zip it up depending on its intention. If it speaks up because it's angry, then that is the ego. The soul always leads from the heart. And there's a different feeling and energy when the soul speaks its truth as opposed to when the ego speaks its truth. So the ego wants to prove a point, the ego wants to be liked, the ego wants to influence, and the soul just wants to share the truth from their heart. So let's put this in a practical scenario for a question that would be very beneficial for you to ask yourself, which is, have you found yourself keeping your opinion to yourself because you don't know how it will be received? I know that I have. I have kept my mouth shut many times, countless times, infinite number of times, because I wasn't sure as to how it would be received. And the question to ask ourselves is, we don't need to do that. But we also don't need to influence people that are not ready to receive our message. So for example, if I'm walking past two people and I'm at a party and they're having a discussion about a topic that I'm passionate about. I don't need to interject and give them my opinion. I can just sit back and watch and observe. I know that the small me, the ego me, wants to interject and has interjected in the past in these types of discussions because I want my opinion to be heard. But unless your opinion is asked for, then you know that it's coming from ego, not soul. And so when is the right time to give your opinion? When A, you were asked for it. B, when it's on your platform, like this is my platform, and you can say whatever you like on your platform. Now, there's no right and there's no wrong, because if there's something that's bursting to come out of you, then let it come out. Let it come out. Because you're going to learn from that exchange anyway. So there is no right and there's no wrong. But rather than judge yourself for expressing opinions, just sit back and observe and say, was it necessary to say that at that time? Why did I do that? What was my intention? Did I want to influence, or did I really want to share something that is dear to me? So when we see other people say, she didn't read the room, well, she doesn't have to read the room. She can speak her truth whenever she likes. He can speak his truth whenever he likes. He doesn't have to read the room first, because how are we going to be pioneers in any area? How are we going to lead the way into a different era, into a brand new world, when we have to read the room first? Because if you're reading the room first, it means you're stuck into some kind of existing paradigm. And at the moment, we're all about breaking down the systems, breaking down the structures, so that a new way of living can be birthed. And so we don't need to read the room. All we need to do is speak authentically and powerfully from our heart space. There is no right or wrong as to when you do it. Just observe. Just observe yourself. Why did I do it? Why did I need to speak up at that moment? Maybe it was perfect and the person that you were speaking up to received it beautifully. Maybe they were triggered. That doesn't mean it was wrong if they were triggered. It could be that they needed to be triggered to aid their own spiritual growth and evolution. And so I welcome your comments, and I welcome any comments that are not aligned with what I'm saying. And I welcome any comments where you're speaking your truth. This is what a public platform is about. And what I would also welcome is that you subscribe to this channel, because we need to start looking at every situation and circumstances from the perspective of the ego and the perspective of the soul, the false self and the true self. And that's not about eliminating ego or not liking our ego or judging our ego, but really starting to be aware, what's the perspective? Whose perspective is it? Would love to hear your thoughts. Please subscribe to this channel, and sending you so much love with all my love.